The purpose of these training videos is to show how to use the new MARS application for managing the production of HydroAlert devices. MARS is an acronym for Material and Assembly Requirement Scheduling. The following topics are addressed: creating purchase orders and assembly requirement transactions for both make-to-order and make-to-stock inventory, receiving and put-away processing of components used in the HydroAlert devices, assembly and shipping of HydroAlert devices, setup and implementation of the MARS application. A critical feature of the MARS application is to enable the tracking of all components in the HydroAlert devices from the point of receiving to shipping, where an electronic history of every component comprising the assembly of each HydroAlert device is stored in the SQL database. And using the serial and lot numbering features intrinsic to Dynamics GP's inventory management module, the following queries are readily available: the ability to identify the supplier's identification and date of receipt of any component used in the assembly of a HydroAlert device, the ability to identify the component's serial or lot number, the ability to identify the population of customers with HydroAlert devices assembled with a particular component from a given lot, the ability to identify the dates of inbound receipts for all components in stock or consumed in the assembly of the HydroAlert devices. Let's go into the first topic regarding the use of the new MARS application for HydroAlert production: creating purchase orders and assembly requirement transactions. Access the MARS application by launching Dynamics GP and then select the shortcut titled Create Assemblies and POs listed in the MARS App Link folder located in the navigation pane. Selecting the shortcut opens a window that displays two scrolling windows. The top scrolling window displays a list of open orders and invoices in the sales processing module to enable the selection of HydroAlert sales transactions to be included in make-to-order processing. In this example, MARS has identified two sales records with line items for the purchase of HydroAlert devices. Note that only HydroAlert devices are selected for production processing through the MARS application. Also, note that a check mark is in the checkboxes in the first column. Remove this check mark for those line items you wish to exclude from a current production run. The bottom scrolling window is for entering make-to-stock production. Enter production transactions for those planned HydroAlert sales, not necessarily driven by the customer demand in the sales processing module. Note that make-to-order processing ignores any open purchase orders and ignores any unposted assembly transactions in Dynamics GP when computing net purchase and assembly requirements. The assumption being that open and unposted items are associated with unposted sales records in Dynamics GP. Conversely, make-to-stock processing includes open purchase orders and unposted assembly transactions when computing net purchase and assembly requirements. Let's process the first make-to-order transaction listed in the top scrolling window. We do this by selecting the button labeled Make-to-Order. The following actions occur when this button is selected. Net purchase and assembly requirements are derived based on existing quantities on hand and sales demand for make-to-order processing. The result of this process is that purchase orders are created and saved in the purchase order module and accessible through the purchase order entry window in Dynamics GP for those items deficient in inventory on hand. And a bill of material assembly transaction is created for each HydroAlert device and saved in the assembly module, accessible through the assembly entry window in Dynamics GP. In this example, 4 bill of material assembly transactions are created, and the following reports are produced: purchase order receipt authorizations, assembly work orders, and posting reports and documents are created. These reports are emailed to the appropriate staff for processing. Text alerts are also sent to staff regarding these documents. Lastly, purchase order receipt and assembly work order authorizations are posted to cloud-based tables to be used by barcode scanner operators when receiving inbound purchase receipts and completing HydroAlert assemblies. Let's take a look at each of these actions. First, let's review the purchase orders created by Mars. We'll refer to the POs and assembly transactions posting report to identify the purchase orders created during this session. Parts to be purchased or assembled are listed in alphabetical sequence. The following information is listed in the report: item name, item description, net requirements, total requirements, sources of the requirements, quantity on hand, quantity on order, open POs created this session, quantities in process, and assembly transaction record numbers. In this example, 2 purchase orders are created in this session: PO 2121 for the purchase of 217 feet of single conductor wire, and PO 2122 for the purchase of 12 UPS power distribution units. Note that the assemblies and inventory presented in the video are fictitious and used for training purposes only. Let's review one of the purchase orders created by the Mars application. The first purchase order is PO 2121. Note that Mars assigns the preferred vendor to the item. The second purchase order is PO 2122. Mars also creates purchase order receipt authorizations for the purchase orders. These are documents that accompany the purchase orders sent to the vendors and, in turn, accompany the inbound shipments from the vendors. These documents include barcodes of the purchase orders and vendors' part numbers or item numbers. When a shipment is received, barcode scanner operators validate the shipment by scanning the purchase order. The scanned purchase order number is matched to the purchase order in the PO receipts authorization table in the cloud. And then the vendor's barcoded part numbers are scanned and matched to the part numbers associated with that purchase order. This is the receipt authorization for PO 2121. Now let's review assembly transactions. Referring back to the POs and assembly transactions posting report, we see that there are 4 assembly transactions created by Mars. Let's review assembly number BSM167. In this example, the scroll window in the lower section of the window lists the components required for the assembly of the HydroAlert device. The posting report lets us know that there is not sufficient inventory of UPS power distribution units and conductor wiring, thus the need for producing the purchase orders. Also, changing the status of the assembly transaction from not released to released displays annotations denoting which parts must be assigned serial or lot numbers, including the HydroAlert device. In this example, the HydroAlert device isn't ready for release because not all of the parts are available. Note that the serial and lot numbers of component parts are scanned into the system by the barcode scanning operators as parts are shipped in. An internal serial number is assigned to the HydroAlert device as the assembly work orders are scanned into the system. Now let's review the assembly work order documents. These documents are emailed to the assemblers and used to acknowledge the completion of HydroAlert assemblies. The documents are also used to pick the components used in the assembly of HydroAlert devices from inventory. The bin number is listed in this column. Completed assemblies are posted by the barcode scanning operators, where the operator first scans the barcode for the assembly work order, and then for each component, the barcode on the label of the component is scanned, and then the component's serial or lot number is scanned. The assembly work order number and part number must match the values in the cloud-based authorization table. Note that the barcoded item numbers in the assembly work orders are used as a backup for those components with barcode labels difficult to read. The system only allows the operator to post assembly work orders after all of the components of the HydroAlert assembly are successfully scanned into the system. Posted assembly work orders trigger email and text message notifications of completed assemblies, enabling accounting to process outbound shipments and invoices. This concludes the training video on creating purchase order and assembly transactions. The next training video presents instructions on receiving and put away processing of inbound inventory for HydroAlert components. Thank you.